What if I told you that the most powerful person in entertainment right now was bagging groceries for $8 an hour just 8 years ago? And what if I told you there's a secret about how he got his biggest movie role that involves him literally crying in public at a Lakers game while drunk? But here's the part that will blow your mind. There's a recording of Kanye West admitting he studies this person's concert footage, and when you hear what Kanye said, you'll understand why every major artist in the world is terrified right now. And wait until you hear about the phone call that happened in a supermarket bathroom that changed the entire music industry forever. But there's something even more shocking. This person still feels like a fraud, even after becoming worth nearly $100 million. But before I reveal what Kanye said and why it changes everything, you need to understand what was happening in a Puerto Rican supermarket in 2016. Because what I'm about to tell you will completely change how you think about timing, opportunity, and what's actually possible when nobody's watching. Picture 22-year-old Benito, 8 hours into his shift at a Cano supermarket, scanning barcodes and asking customers paper or plastic for barely enough money to survive. His co-workers think he's just another college dropout killing time before figuring out his life. His manager sees a quiet kid who shows up on time and doesn't cause trouble. His customers see nothing special, just another face behind the register. But his hands are bagging groceries while something incredible is happening in his mind that nobody can see. While everyone else sees a minimum wage worker going through the motions, Benito is constructing entire songs in his head. Not just humming random melodies, but building complete tracks with verses, hooks, chord progressions, and arrangements. He's creating bridges between verses, imagining how drums would hit during specific moments, crafting lyrics that tell complete stories. He can't afford to write anything down. He doesn't even own a notebook, so he's forced to hold entire compositions in his memory, singing them silently to himself throughout his 8-hour shift just to remember them when he gets home. The mental discipline required to hold 5 or 6 complete songs in your head while performing manual labor for 8 hours straight is almost superhuman. Some of those mental songs that he created while bagging groceries are now worth millions of dollars. But here's the part that sounds like fiction. At night, after his supermarket shifts, Benito walks home to a small apartment he shares with family, exhausted from 8 hours of physical labor. But his day is just beginning. He sits in front of a cheap laptop, opens SoundCloud, and uploads music under the name Bad Bunny, a name inspired by a childhood Easter photo where he looked annoyed in a bunny costume. His mother made him wear it for the family photo, and his expression was so genuinely irritated that it became a family joke. Years later, that moment of childhood rebellion would become his brand. The name itself was born from embarrassment, which tells you everything about his relationship with conventional success. He's building a following, track by track, upload by upload, while working a day job that has nothing to do with music. No manager, no label, no connections in the industry. Just a kid with a laptop and an unlimited data plan uploading reggaeton tracks to the internet, hoping someone, somewhere, will listen. He's getting a few hundred plays here and there, maybe a few dozen likes. Nothing that suggests global domination is coming. And then something happens that changes everything, but also creates the most absurd situation you can imagine. His track Dials starts exploding on SoundCloud, not gradually building an audience over months, exploding. Thousands of plays in days, comments in Spanish, English, and languages he doesn't recognize. Industry producers calling his phone, record labels wanting meetings, major artists reaching out through social media. And where is Benito when these career-changing calls start coming in? He's literally running to the supermarket bathroom during his shift, hiding in stalls, whispering deal negotiations between scanning groceries, trying to negotiate his future while asking customers if they want double-bagged. Picture this scene. He's in the middle of helping an elderly woman load her groceries when his phone buzzes with a call from a Columbia Records executive. He has to excuse himself, sprint to the employee bathroom, lock the stall door, and conduct a conversation about potentially signing a recording contract worth hundreds of thousands of dollars while sitting on a toilet in a Puerto Rican supermarket. But here's the thing. He can barely understand what the A&R rep is saying because his English is still very limited. He's trying to negotiate a life-changing deal in a language he doesn't fully speak while hiding in a bathroom stall. "Can you hold on 1 second?" He whispers to the A&R rep in broken English. "I need to go help a customer with their bags." Imagine explaining to Columbia Records that you'll call them back because you need to clean up a spill in aisle 3, or that you can't talk longer because your 15-minute break is over and your manager is looking for you. all while struggling to find the right English words to express yourself. But here's what makes this story different from every other rags to riches transformation, and why what Kanye West said about studying him makes perfect sense. Even after his music started taking off, even after he was becoming famous, when Netflix needed to cast for Narcos Mexico, Bad Bunny didn't use his growing celebrity to skip lines or demand special treatment. He stood in the casting call queue like everyone else, waited his turn, and auditioned in person. This wasn't humility. This was strategic intelligence. His manager Noah Assad later revealed something that perfectly captures why this approach would make Bad Bunny unstoppable. The way he got his role in Netflix's Narcos Mexico was by standing in the line at a casting call and auditioning in person, just like everyone else. While other celebrities were using connections and influence to get roles, Bad Bunny was proving he belonged there through performance. He understood something that most famous people never figure out. Authentic connection to the struggle creates unbreakable loyalty. Now here's where the story takes a psychological turn that explains everything about his success, including why his latest movie just broke Netflix records and why Kanye West is studying his methods. The transformation from 2016 to 2018 was so psychologically violent that Bad Bunny later described it like being trapped in a sensory deprivation chamber. From 2016 to 2018, I disappeared. I was stuck in a capsule, without knowing anything. I think that was the moment that was going to determine if I was going to go crazy or not. Think about what he's describing. Most celebrity success stories involve gradual building, slow recognition, step-by-step progress. Someone gets discovered, signs with a small label, releases a few singles, builds an audience, gets radio play, maybe gets a hit after a few years. Bad Bunny's transformation was psychological warfare conducted at light speed while the entire world watched. He went from bagging groceries to global superstardom so fast that his own mind couldn't process what was happening. One day, he's worried about getting enough hours at the supermarket to pay rent. The next day, he's on private jets heading to Los Angeles for meetings with executives who control the global music industry. The psychological whiplash was so intense that he described feeling like he was losing his sense of reality. And during this psychological chaos, something occurred in 2018 that defies probability and explains why he would eventually break Netflix records. Everything changed simultaneously in a way that shouldn't be possible. Not one song becoming a hit, multiple massive hits happening at the same time, across different markets, with different artists, creating a momentum that couldn't be stopped. Everything changed simultaneously in a way that shouldn't be possible. His collaboration with Cardi B and J Balvin, I Like It, hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100. His track with Drake, Mia, reached #5. Both songs dominating American radio while he's singing exclusively in Spanish and infusing every track with Puerto Rican reggaeton rhythms. But here's what makes this even more incredible. At this point, Bad Bunny could barely speak English. He was conducting interviews through translators, learning English phrases phonetically for collaborations, and navigating the American music industry while primarily speaking Spanish. Then came collaborations with Beyoncé, features with major American artists who typically don't work with reggaeton artists, and suddenly Bad Bunny isn't just crossing over into American markets, he's dominating them while maintaining complete cultural authenticity and putting Puerto Rico on the global entertainment map. And then, and this detail reveals everything about how he operates under pressure, he finished his debut album X100PRE just 4 days before its Christmas Eve release date. While most artists spend years perfecting their debut album, working with teams of producers and writers, Bad Bunny completed his in the same amount of time most people need to recover from a long weekend. This wasn't procrastination. This was a completely different relationship with creative pressure. That would become his secret weapon. He works better under impossible deadlines, creates better music when everything is on the line, performs better when the stakes couldn't be higher. This wasn't procrastination. This was a completely different relationship with creative pressure that would become his secret weapon. But the moment that crystallizes his entire psychology happened after the Super Bowl halftime show in 2020. And when you hear what he did, you'll understand why his approach to Hollywood would be so different from every other musician-turned-actor. After performing at Super Bowl 54, the biggest moment of his career up to that point, handlers tried to rush him off the field. Standard protocol: get the talent off the field, into the car, to the after party. But Bad Bunny did something that reveals his entire approach to success. He stopped walking. He said, "Listen, we're going to stay here. The show's not over yet. For several minutes, as 65,000 people screamed and fireworks exploded overhead, he stood there in his Swarovski-encrusted suit, processing the magnitude of his transformation from supermarket bagger to Super Bowl performer. "It was overwhelming," he recalled. "And I said to myself then, I have to slow down and enjoy things more." That moment of stillness and chaos became the template for everything that followed, including his approach to acting. But what happened next reveals why Hollywood executives are now treating him differently than any other musician who wants to act. And it starts with that Kanye West admission that changes everything. In 2022, during a Drink Champs interview, Kanye West said something that sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry and explains why Bad Bunny's acting career is more significant than anyone realizes. When asked about his biggest competition, Kanye said, "Bad Bunny, that's who's on our wall. That's who's on our wall when we make music. We loading up his concert footage." The interviewer pushed back, "You studying Bad Bunny's aesthetics?" Kanye's response, "Not just the aesthetics." Let that sink in. Kanye West, who revolutionized hip-hop multiple times, who built a billion-dollar fashion empire, who literally changed the sound of popular music, was studying concert footage of a Puerto Rican reggaeton artist who refuses to sing in English. This wasn't casual interest. This was strategic intelligence gathering. Kanye understood that Bad Bunny had cracked a code that traditional American superstars couldn't access: global domination through complete cultural authenticity. The numbers that Kanye was studying tell the story of a fundamental shift in how global entertainment power operates. Bad Bunny became the first and only artist to be Spotify's most streamed artist globally for 3 consecutive years. His 2022 streams reached 18.5 billion, the second biggest streaming year in Spotify history. With over 82 billion total Spotify streams, he wasn't just competing with English-language artists, he was dominating them while singing exclusively in Spanish. But here's the psychological detail that makes this even more compelling and explains why his transition to acting would be so different from other musicians. Despite these astronomical numbers, despite being studied by legends like Kanye, despite having more streams than artists who have been famous for decades, Bad Bunny was dealing with imposter syndrome so intense it nearly broke him. He revealed in interviews, "Not long ago, I was 100% clear in my head what I've achieved, maybe a year or 6 months ago. But until then, many times I forgot, I felt that I was the kid from the supermarket. Something would happen, and I'd say, hell. And then, no, wait, I have money here." Imagine the psychological complexity of this situation. You're performing for hundreds of thousands of people who are screaming every word to songs you wrote in your head while bagging groceries. You're earning more money per show than most people make in years. You're collaborating with the biggest artists in the world. And your brain still defaults to feeling like the kid who had to run to bathroom stalls to take important phone calls. This psychological split between his current reality and his internal self-image creates the foundation for understanding why his acting career represents something more dangerous to Hollywood than just another musician trying to get movie roles. And it explains why what happened during his first audition would predict everything about his approach to building an acting career. When Bad Bunny auditioned for Narcos Mexico in 2021, playing cartel member Arturo Kitty Paez, he did something that revealed his strategic thinking about acting. Instead of leveraging his music fame to get special treatment, he literally stood in line at the casting call, like every other actor hoping for a role. When showrunner Carlo Bernard first heard that this mysterious reggaeton superstar wanted to audition, his reaction was, "Everybody under 30 in the office lost their minds." I was like, oh, I should probably pay more attention to this. But Bad Bunny wasn't interested in being treated like a celebrity guest. He wanted to earn the role through performance, not popularity. This approach would set the template for every acting choice that followed, leading to the moment when he would make Adam Sandler cry and eventually break Netflix records. But first, he had to prove he could actually act. His 2022 appearance in Bullet Train gave him just 5 minutes of screen time, but those 5 minutes revealed something important about his approach to character building. Director David Leitch cast him after being impressed by his emotional range, noting that he can bring his emotions to the surface quickly, like he does in his music. But here's what's fascinating about Bad Bunny's preparation method. He created a character-specific playlist titled El Lobo to get into his assassin character's mindset. And remember, this is while he's still learning English, still working with dialect coaches to perfect his pronunciation for Hollywood roles. While other actors study method acting techniques or work with coaches, Bad Bunny was using his musical instincts to build character psychology, while simultaneously mastering a second language for his performances. He was developing a hybrid approach that combined his musical emotionality with dramatic performance, all while navigating the challenge of acting in English when Spanish is his native language. This preparation would pay off in ways he couldn't predict. The dramatic leap came with 2023's Cassandro, where he played Felipe, a drug dealer who becomes romantically involved with Gael Garcia Bernal's character. This role featured Bad Bunny's first on-screen kiss with a man, and his response demonstrated growing confidence as a performer. If you're acting, you're being someone you're not. So when they asked me for that, I said, yes, I'm here for whatever you want. This wasn't just professional commitment, this was Bad Bunny using his platform to normalize LGBTQ representation, while simultaneously proving his range as a performer. Every role was building towards something bigger, but he didn't know that the biggest opportunity would come from the most unexpected source: crying at a basketball game. The story behind Bad Bunny's casting in Happy Gilmore 2 reveals how Hollywood power really works when authentic fandom meets career opportunity, and why the results would break Netflix records in ways nobody predicted. Bad Bunny literally cried when he first met Adam Sandler at a Lakers game. Not tears of joy, actual emotional breakdown crying. I was a little tipsy, he admitted later, and I had been waiting for that moment, having been to a lot of Lakers games and saw every celebrity, but never Adam Sandler. Picture this scene. Bad Bunny, worth tens of millions of dollars, one of the most famous people on the planet, sitting courtside at a Lakers game, probably the biggest celebrity in the building, and he starts crying when he meets Adam Sandler. Not because of business opportunities or career advancement, but because he grew up watching Happy Gilmore and Billy Madison and The Waterboy. And Adam Sandler represents childhood joy in a way that transcends money or fame. And here's what makes this moment even more beautiful. Bad Bunny is trying to express his fandom in English, a language he's still learning, stumbling over words while tears stream down his face. This wasn't manufactured celebrity networking. This was genuine fandom meeting career opportunity in the most authentic way possible. Sandler later described that meeting. He was so genuine, so emotional about movies, that made him laugh as a kid. And his English was still developing, but his passion came through perfectly. You don't see that often at this level of fame. And Sandler's reaction reveals everything about why this casting would work. After seeing Bad Bunny host Saturday Night Live, where he delivered his monologue in both Spanish and English, Sandler's assessment was immediate and decisive. When I saw you on Saturday Night Live, I was like, he's funnier than me. Not just naturally funny, but funnier in a way that translates to screen, regardless of what language he's speaking. When Netflix greenlit the Happy Gilmore sequel, Sandler and his team didn't adapt an existing role for a famous musician. They wrote the character of Oscar Mejias, Happy's new caddy, specifically around Bad Bunny's energy and comedic instincts. What happened next validates everything about Bad Bunny's approach to building authentic success across different mediums. Happy Gilmore 2 broke Netflix records with 46.7 million views in its first 3 days, becoming the biggest US Netflix film debut of 2025. Critics praised his utterly endearing and very funny performance, with multiple reviews noting his scene-stealing abilities. The Hollywood Reporter declared that the film only works thanks to Bad Bunny, while MovieWeb noted his effortless comedic timing. His character's running gag involving the word breadsticks became an instant meme, and his participation in a revenge fantasy scene, where he paints Travis Kelce with honey, before a bear attack exemplified his willingness to commit fully to absurd comedy. But here's what critics and audiences were really responding to. Bad Bunny brought the same authentic energy to comedy that made his music globally dominant. He wasn't trying to be someone else's version of funny, he was being his version of funny. This success validates the financial empire that makes all of these creative risks possible, because understanding Bad Bunny's money reveals why he can afford to be selective about roles, and why Hollywood executives are paying attention to his choices. His net worth has exploded to somewhere between $50 and $88 million. But those numbers don't tell the full story of his earning power. His world's hottest tour in 2022 grossed $435 million, making it the highest-grossing tour by any Latin artist in history. But here's what makes those numbers even more impressive. He sold out stadiums in markets where reggaeton had never been mainstream. Imagine selling out MetLife Stadium in New Jersey, 90,000 people singing along to songs in Spanish, in a market that traditionally only supported English-language acts. His Most Wanted tour in 2024 added another 211 million, cementing his position as a touring powerhouse commanding over 4 million per performance. To put that in perspective, he's earning more per show than most artists make in entire world tours. The streaming numbers are equally staggering and reveal something unprecedented about global music consumption. With over 80 billion Spotify streams generating tens of millions in royalties, plus album sales exceeding 86 million equivalent units, his music empire provides the financial foundation that allows him to choose acting roles based on creative interest rather than financial need. He's not taking movie roles because he needs the money. He's taking them because he wants to build a different kind of legacy. When you're making $4 million per concert, a movie paycheck becomes about artistic fulfillment rather than financial necessity. But here's what makes his approach to building that legacy so different from other musicians who transition to acting, and why his upcoming projects suggest something unprecedented is happening. His role as Colorado, a Puerto Rican gangster in Darren Aronofsky's Caught Stealing, set for release in August 2025, represents a significant step up in both director prestige and character complexity. Notice how even in Hollywood, he's specifically being cast as Puerto Rican characters. Directors aren't asking him to hide his identity, they're leveraging it. Aronofsky's assessment of working with him reveals how his reputation has evolved. He's like the sweetest guy in the world. He was so down to earth, and so one of us, and so part of the team. But Aronofsky also revealed something that illustrates how Bad Bunny's global celebrity status now rivals traditional Hollywood A-listers. We were constantly terrified that the neighborhood would be overthrown as soon as they found out that Benito was there. His presence on set requires the same security considerations as major heads of state, creating production challenges that most actors never face. This level of global recognition, combined with his strategic approach to role selection, explains why his recent statement about future intentions should worry established Hollywood stars. "I'm always going to make music, but I'd spend some time just making films and dedicating myself to acting." Given his track record of achieving everything he set his mind to, this statement should be taken seriously by Hollywood executives and audiences alike. The cultural revolution that Bad Bunny represents extends beyond entertainment into fundamental questions about authenticity, global influence, and how power operates in the 21st century. His success proves that audiences are hungry for genuine cultural expression over manufactured mainstream appeal. His refusal to sing in English while becoming the most streamed artist globally demonstrates that authenticity can be more commercially powerful than conventional crossover strategies. He's proven that you don't need to abandon your culture to achieve global success. You can actually use your cultural specificity as a competitive advantage. As a proud Puerto Rican artist, he's shown that representing your island, your people, and your language can be the path to global domination rather than an obstacle to overcome. This authenticity has created unprecedented cultural influence that Hollywood is still trying to understand. His Calvin Klein campaign generated $8.4 million in media impact value in just 48 hours. His co-chairing of the 2024 Met Gala alongside Jennifer Lopez and Zendaya positioned him among entertainment's most influential figures. When he walks red carpets wearing skirts and nail polish, when he speaks out about Puerto Rican politics and advocates for the island's independence, when he uses his platform to advocate for social justice issues affecting Puerto Rico, he's not just being a celebrity, he's reshaping what global masculinity can look like while proudly representing his homeland on the world's biggest stages. But perhaps the most psychologically compelling aspect of Bad Bunny's entire transformation remains that vulnerability about still feeling like the kid from the supermarket. This creates the perfect connection with audiences navigating their own transformations, because it suggests that extraordinary success is possible while maintaining connection to humble origins. He's not pretending to be relatable, he's genuinely processing his own transformation in real time, and audiences can feel the difference between authentic vulnerability and manufactured relatability. The kid who created hit songs in his head while bagging groceries, who ran to bathroom stalls to take record deal calls, who cried meeting Adam Sandler, who still sometimes feels like the boy from the supermarket, despite commanding millions per performance, has created a new template for what global superstardom can look like. He's proven that you don't have to choose between staying true to yourself and achieving extraordinary success. As a Puerto Rican artist who proudly represents his island and culture, he's shown that authenticity and cultural pride can be the foundation of global domination rather than barriers to overcome. And if Kanye West is studying his concert footage, analyzing not just his aesthetics, but his entire approach to building authentic global influence, maybe the rest of us should be paying attention too. Because Bad Bunny isn't just transforming his own career, he's transforming the entire entertainment industry's understanding of how real power gets built and sustained in the modern world.